big activities happening at the moment at the Pittsworth State School. It's fair to say that all of the focus is on the arts at the moment. And Pittsworth State School are inviting you to step into a world where a neglected neighbourhood garden transforms into a vibrant haven of hope and unity. I know it's a lot, but I reckon they can deliver with Pittsworth State School's 9th biennial musical called Lost Paradise, The Garden That Time Forgot. Not only is this a ripper of a musical that features 60 of the Pittsworth State School students from across the school, either on the stage or helping out backstage, but it's written specifically for the school. This has been the case with the last 9 musicals that have been staged by Pittsworth State School, written by former Pittsworth student and current maths science teacher at St Joseph's, Toowoomba, Mitchell Wheeldon, in collaboration with his mum, Beth, who's the performing arts teacher and director of the play. Very much a community collaboration as well. It's fair to say that when this musical takes to the stage this coming Friday at the Pittsworth Town Hall, Friday the 16th of August, it's very much a all-of-community production. Let's find out a little bit more. Beth Wheeldon, good morning. Welcome. Lovely to have a chat to you.
And it's nice to chat to you too, David.
Now, Beth, you are in the latter stages of the final rehearsals for, of course, Pittsworth State School's latest school musical, which is called Lost Paradise. So how would you sum up, how are things going so far? Is it ticking all the boxes as to where it should be at this stage of the game?
I think it certainly is. We've got a great bunch of kids. It's, as always, a community production. You know, it might be the kids and the school staff and parents that sort of kick it off, but we have a huge community involvement, particularly with our Black Ink community band. But a number of people get involved and put the whole show together. And I think this year, I say this every year, but I think this year we really have lifted the standard. So the kids are more ready more quickly. They've been rehearsing since second term, and I think we've just about nailed it.
So did they start rehearsing, or was the play ready to be rehearsed earlier than it normally is, or are these kids just adapting to it better?
Well, I think there's a combination. It's the same sort of timing that we always have.
Yep.
I'd like to think that I get better at teaching and managing. This is our ninth musical, yeah. So we now have music, dance and drama as, you know, specialist subjects at school. So kids probably these days have a little bit more experience in all of those things, so that helps. But we can fine-tune each time we do a musical. We can fine-tune the processes, I think, that make the final production just that little bit sharper and a little bit more professional. Yeah.
Can I ask, just to go off in a segue just for a moment before we talk about this particular play, you mentioned that you now have dance and drama as part of the curriculum. When did that happen? When did those subjects become part of a primary school curriculum? Because, look, I know it's going back a fair while when I was at school, but primary school was pretty straight in terms of the 3 R's when I was at school.
Yeah.
When did it all sort of expand and bust out of those confines?
Well, when the Australian curriculum came on board a few years ago, that's when we really did focus on the 5 strands of the arts, which are music, dance, drama, visual arts and media arts. And generally in the last, X number of years, we've had primary school music teachers in our state schools. But I approached it was then 5 principals about 12, 14 years ago, and suggested that we perhaps have music, dance and drama, because we are putting on shows, productions, you know, even if they're little musicals or end-of-year concerts, and those strands of the arts often get a little bit overlooked. Music has been a big feature, and music's amazing, but it's been very hard to cover things like dance and drama because either just regular classroom teachers are not as comfortable or as experienced in those areas, and we certainly haven't had specialists in those areas. But even though I'm employed as a music teacher, we feel, principals and myself feel that we can cover dance and drama as they're strands that are in the the Australian curriculum anyway and should be covered, but it's very difficult to do that. So, yeah, they were keen to come on board with that idea.
And that would be so good, wouldn't it, to expose kids to any form of drama class at that age, because it doesn't matter, whether they dream of going on and having a career on the stage or whether they even pursue it in high school, but it's just so good for their confidence. Are you finding that?
Yeah, it's the arts, particularly performing arts. It's just all encompassing and everybody is accepted at whatever level. We talk about differentiation with teaching and catering for individual differences. Well, with the arts, everyone's involved. Everyone is welcome. Everyone feels like they belong. If you talk to any number of primary or high school teachers, they'll often say, I loved the drama, the drama classroom or the music classroom was where I liked to hang out because I really felt like I belonged there. And if you get that good vibe, being involved in the arts, then that carries through with anything else that you're doing at school.
Beth, the fantastic thing about all of the musicals that you have been associated with, these 9 so far with Pittsworth State School, is that they are always written as original pieces and written by... So is Mitchell your son?
He sure is. He's firstborn, heir to the throne. Don't tell me that. One of 4. But yes, he's a high school maths science teacher at St Joseph's there in Toowoomba. And he's been part of the community band for many, many years, I'd say 20-odd years or more. So, yes, he's obviously got that creative outlet. We probably collaborated a bit more on this one than Mitchell writing this one solely. So... I did the first couple and then Mitch sort of took over the writing, but there's a bit more of a collaboration on this one.
So who came up with the inspiration of, the community garden that had been, neglected and forgotten and then sort of becoming almost this magical place? Whose burst of inspiration was that?
I just looked outside in the middle of the drought. No.
It's happening as we speak.
It was a brainstorming session, let's look at this idea or this idea. Our school musicals overwhelmingly have themes of friendship and resilience and working together and overcoming obstacles and all sorts of things that we're trying to, as teachers, we try and teach in our schools or foster, in our student population. So they're always really good themes that align with what our school is doing anyway. But hopefully in a fun way. So, yeah, it was just a matter of brainstorming and finding which sort of theme worked the best. And this is the one we went with.
And when you and Mitchell sit down and have this brainstorming session and you come up with, the final script, is it liberating to create something from scratch because you can create and you can write in the number of parts that you need?
For sure.
As opposed to trying to find a play that has, parts for all of your strongest performers plus lesser, or less prominent roles for those who are sort of up and coming and that sort of thing. You can write it. You can write to plan, I suppose.
That's interesting because we never do write with particular kids in mind or the cohort that we have, and every time we do write a musical, invariably there are changes and edits to include other people, or we'll do auditions at school and I'm just blown away with kids that I hadn't expected perhaps to shine, or every time we do a musical we get these little grade 3s or 4s that just pop up out of the woodwork and you go, wow. This kid's got to have a lead role.
Fantastic.
So there are times when we've changed things along the way. And, yes, having the freedom to do that because it's our own original piece, we can make those changes as necessary.
That's brilliant. Tell me the basic story of the play, Beth.
Well, it is just a regular suburban garden and everyone's going about their own business, doing the things that they do in suburbia. And a little band of 4 children stumble upon this overgrown, neglected space, and out pops Mr. Bloom. Mr. Bloom, who's a wonderful little character, a bit garden gnomish, who has been hiding behind his garden shed and pops out and says, hey, we should work together to bring this garden back to its former glory. And that's basically what the whole story is about. Let's fix up this overgrown, tangled, viney jungle and turn it into something beautiful. And along the way, They have to cope with troublesome kids, the troublemakers who come in and want to wreak havoc, and the local council who, everything has to be up to code or we're going to shut this place down for good. And then there's a wild storm that wreaks a little bit more havoc. So we have to overcome obstacles along the way until finally there is redemption. The baddies turn into goodies, because this always happens in our musicals. Everything comes together at the end. The council are pleased with the final result. The weather turns beautiful, and we have a big party at the end, and it's all wonderful.
That is brilliant. I love the way it's so topical, based on things that regularly happen in Pittsworth. So let's see a really fussy council that wants you to stick to protocol, storms, damage, all of those things. That it could almost be talking about a real place.
Listen, if I can just put in a plug here for the local council, who are wonderfully supportive of our school musical endeavours, and we use the Pittsworth Town Hall, and they are always wonderful to work with and highly supportive. And in fact, last Friday when we went tripping about town doing our little flash mob, surprising businesses, local businesses, we specifically went into the council office where our lead cast members were able to sing "We'll Shut It Down," bum bum bum, and the council loved it. All the people in the council popped out of their offices to listen to us sing, and we assured them that this is not reflective of our actual council, because they are very supportive.
They loved it. Hopefully, they didn't get inspiration from it.
I hope they followed the show right through to its culmination, where the councillors worked together with the people in the community, and everyone lived happily ever after.
That is fantastic. I'm always intrigued. What do the kids tell you afterwards that they get out of this? What sort of feedback do you get from the kids themselves about the experience of being in a production like this?
Well, it's interesting. Sometimes the kids themselves, during process, are not always as effusive as the kids who have grown up a little bit. The kids who have gone on to high school and they come back and play in the band, or they come back and do the choreography, or you bump into them down the street, or they become parents at our school. They're very reflective and just have really happy memories of just the involvement with their friends. I think the kids in the show enjoy the performance aspect, but they also enjoy rehearsals. They enjoy hanging out in the supper room at the town hall and, just being together, doing something different that's not necessarily academic.
That's it, and being part of something that's bigger than an individual, isn't it? Like you're working towards something. It's a long-term goal, and
Yes, and seeing it from these very tiny seeds of, we're going to talk about a show and we're going to do some practices so that we can do auditions, so that we can start rehearsals, so that we can put it together with the band, like all the different stages along the way. I think they see a huge sense of accomplishment in every little stage that we get to. And particularly this week, when you finally see costumes together and we all, they're wearing headset microphones and we're actually going to perform this. Yeah. And I think that's probably what the flash mob down the street gave us a little taste of. We're actually performing for real people in our real town. And I think everyone will get a kick out of that.
What a buzz, definitely. And what's the payoff for you?
Just a huge, overwhelming sense of satisfaction and an overseas holiday at the end of it. After every school musical, let's use a bit of long service leave and treat ourselves to a time away.
And that's why it's only once every 2 years, see?
I think so. Yeah, I love it. I love my job every single day, David.
Beth, your enthusiasm for this and your passion for this project is always infectious, so it's always such a delight to have a chat to you. We'd encourage people to get down if you haven't already bought tickets. Tickets available on Pittsworth State School website, and it should be a fantastic show. I say to all of you, all the cast and behind the scenes people, break a leg. Hope it goes well.
Thank you so much, David. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.